Well, ain't this a fine looking specimen? Radio TV phono nut here, by the way. And I picked this hunk of junk up at the flea market, mainly for parts more than anything else. You can see it's in really poor shape and has masking tape all over the case. This is a cheapo one-tube wonder, mid to late 60s Sears Silvertone record player. I think this was made by Waters Conley, but I think before we part it out, we'll at least have a little fun with it and see if we can resurrect it as cheaply as possible. As you can tell, the motor board is all warped, causing the turntable platter to sag. But I know how to fix that. I had to do it on another one that was in better shape. I just stuck a wedge between the motor board and the bottom of the cabinet, and that shored it up and straightened it out. Heck, I might just paint this thing turquoise and put legs on it and advertise it for sale on eBay for $799. I pulled all the masking tape off of the case that someone had on it for whatever reason, but this thing is still pretty crusty. I was able to get some of the dirt off, but usually when these cardboard cases get heavily soiled like this, there's not a whole lot you can do for them. So, you know, when you get them in this condition, they're just basically good for parts, or if you just want to have a little fun trying to resurrect them, then go for it. But it's not something you'd want to invest any money into. Alright, let's see what happens. If we get smoke, that'll just add to the fun. Yeah, we can hear the platter scraping the motor board, and obviously the cheap foam rubber pad is worn off. Let the tube warm up. But yeah, this is going to be a resurrection, not a restoration, and obviously the filter capacitor is bad. Alright, come off of there. I'm sure the cartridge is bad too. We're not going to shoot for top performance. We're just going to shoot to make it somewhat work okay. Well, as far as eBay standards go, it already works okay. It spins and makes noise, and that classifies as a working unit for most eBay sellers. Here's the inside. Pretty typical cheapy cardboard case. At least it has an AC motor, which was standard back then. Little 4-inch speaker, single 25L6 tube. I think this is from 65. Alright, let's rig it up and try to make it play. Here's the innards of the chassis, cheap tin chassis. Small selenium rectifier here, nothing to this. Alright, we're going to go into our junk box of parts. I'm not going to use my freshly purchased electrolytic capacitors for this, because that's just going to add money to the amount invested, and we want to fix this or resurrect this as cheaply as possible. Alright, here's our junk box of capacitors and other miscellaneous parts that have been removed from various televisions that have been EOL'd over the years. The original capacitor value is, let's see, what do we have here? Red is 40 microfarad, 150 volt, orange is 20 at 150, blue is 20 at 25. Well, we're not going to worry about critical values. We'll just find something close and stick it in there. It's not that critical. Alright, 22 at 250, 82 at 200, and 100 at 25 volts. Well, just so you won't think too poorly of me, I will solder the wires in place and run heat shrink tubing over to the connection to try to make it safe. Alright, here we go. Tacked in 100 microfarad for the cathode bypass. The original was a 20. Just tack soldered the ground lead to our negative lead to the resistor, and well, you see how it's done. Really didn't pay any attention to neatness. Let's just get them in there, make it safe with the heat shrink tubing, put it back together and see what happens. The selenium rectifier works. It's staying. I'm not checking resistor values. If this thing will amplify, it's it's going to be considered done. Okay, the hum's gone. We have a little cartridge activity, not much. Find me a record. Well, it's so dead it's not even amplifying anything. And this arm's all broke, I think, at the rear. Alright, let's see what else we can come up with. Alright, here's an old arm that I jake-legged. It originally had a flip cartridge on the front. I did a little melting and all that and made an old cartridge out of a BSR changer fit. I think the cartridge has some output. I don't know how good it is, but if it's better than what's in here, then that's an improvement, right? Alright, there we go. I just spliced onto the original tone arm wires because I was too lazy to pull the chassis back out and actually do it correctly, and that would have taken longer to do that anyway, so I just took the quick way out.
Hold it up to them. Help! Help! Stop noise and help! Come very quick!
Alright, there you go. It works.
Stop. And one of them said,
it may not be as robust as it could be, but
and long name no
plays a record, and that's what we were after. Alright, there you go. I'll try to shore up this motor board. Find an old paper towel or something and cut it down to size and put over this mat, over this turntable platter, and that's it. Not even worried about the missing 45 adapter. They sell the little snap-in things on eBay and at a variety of record stores. Alright, we have the motor board shored up with an old filter capacitor. Bad parts really are useful for some things besides the trash. And now it runs without scraping the motor board, and you can see it's fairly straight now. Now, I did not take the drive mechanism apart. I was generous and put a couple of drops of oil on the motor and a drop or two of oil on the spindle, so I did that, and the record player works. How long it'll work is anybody's guess. It could blow up the next time we turn it on, or it could run for the next 20 years this way. Who knows? Or it could die any time in between. But what I'm getting at is, and this is something that a lot of people in society don't seem to get today, if you want quality, you have to pay for it. If you want a $10 record player, then this is what you get. Well, probably not in reality, because in most cases, in today's world, you're doing good if $10 will buy you one that's in as crusty of condition as this one is, and it not be working at the flea market. In fact, I've seen some at the flea market priced well above $10 in this kind of crusty condition. Of course, they usually didn't sell, but so yeah, you know, you might see this on eBay for $10, but then they probably want free shipping, so might better scratch that idea. If I put it on eBay, I'd have to get paid for my shipping, of course. Well, here we are, old crusty dry rotten mat off of a VM record changer. I guess it's better than nothing at all. The melted Jake leg tone arm, it all goes together quite well, don't you think? But yeah, a lot of people want the quality, but they expect the $10 price. Well, it don't work that way, unfortunately.
How did you do it?
Alright, there you go. The resurrection of a very crusty old Silvertone record player. Not a restoration, a resurrection. Just as little that needed to be done to get it to halfway play a record decently, and it had to be done. So there you go.